We finally got our first glimpse at a Pokemon game on the Switch in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and I have to say this is the first time I've had a 50-50 reaction to a Pokemon game trailer. Usually I'm down with whatever Game Freak has in store, even though I am not the biggest fan of Pokemon Go, and I don't really play it that much, but I still think the game looks amazing on the Switch, and I think of course it's gonna have its ups and downs. So today I thought, why not tackle some of the stuff I think that will be the best and the worst about these games. Of course, I don't have to mention that everything that I'm gonna say in this video is my own opinion, so if you guys have a different opinion or you guys disagree, make sure to comment down below what you guys think are the 5 best and the 5 worst things about these games. And of course, make sure to leave a like if you guys enjoyed this video, and with that being said, let's get straight into it. Coming in at number 5, I have something that is very light, not very major, but I just wanted to address it because I thought it was really cool that this is the first game that is in HD and is on the Switch, because having to deal with the awkwardly outlined sprites on the 3DS is definitely over, because it's amazing to see how well polished the Pokemon sprites and how everything looks on the Switch in comparison. Having to go from this to something like this is amazing and very much insane. Obviously, the character sprites in Let's Go also show emotion, unlike Alola's character's never-ending smile, which is something that is very cool as well. I just think that Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee definitely had an upgrade with this coming to the Switch, and that is very much giving us a lot of potential to see what they will do with the Pokemon Core RPG that is coming in 2019. Next thing on the list, which I think is very convenient, is that motion controls are actually optional. With the Pokemon Go integration of you having to flick or swing your hand now with a Joy-Con in to catch a Pokemon, I think that you're going to be having to do this for a long time, because this is your grinding method now, because there are no wild battles. And if you think that you don't want to just keep flicking or swinging your hand because it's just going to get tiring, it's actually optional. You don't need to do that all the time, which I think is very convenient, and I think it's really cool that they didn't really stick to just the motion controls and they actually made it either or, because if you feel like swinging, you can swing, and if you don't feel, you can just not use it at all. So other than it being very handy and very convenient, there's really not much to it. It's pretty straightforward. I just honestly thought I would include it because I think it is worth mentioning. Coming in at number 3, we have Co-op. Playing alongside a friend is something we've been asking for a really long time, and to see that it is finally happening, even if just locally for now, is just truly amazing. Especially with the Switch being advertised as having a lot of people gather together and play, this is just perfect in my opinion. Obviously, battles are going to feel a little bit unfair because sometimes it's going to be 2 versus 1, but I feel like it's more of the ride and like the fun adventure feeling that you get with your friend that's the most important part, and it puts the other Joy-Con to great use. I think that this is definitely a step in the right direction and shows a lot of potential to possibly having co-op with online or more than 2 people in the future. Not necessarily the 2019 game, but maybe future Switch Pokemon games in general. I know some people are upset about this, but I honestly think it's great, and that is including only the original 151 Pokemon. This I feel will give me the same feeling as Black and White with only having Pokemon from that region, even though I know the diversity won't be too much, but I just want that HD Kanto feeling with the same Pokemon. And honestly, the thought of Pokemon from regions other than Johto being Kanto would just feel weird and out of place, because for example, I can't imagine running into a Gible or an Aron in Rock Tunnel. It just seems too out of place. So keeping it simple with only the original 151 Pokemon made me very happy, and I feel this will give the game the nostalgic Gen 1 feeling that I am hopefully looking for, and that feeling that it deserves, which is one of the best things in my opinion. And finally, what I think is the best thing about these games so far is that finally, after asking for 3 long generations, Pokemon follow you. No doubt when we got introduced to this in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, my mind was absolutely blown, and it was sad to see it not happen again despite being hinted in games like Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, where how starter Pokemon used to follow him around everywhere. So seeing it finally making an appearance, and not anywhere, on the Switch was just absolutely incredible, and that can point out to a lot of potential again to see it being repeated in the 2019 Pokemon games. I guess an added entry to Pokemon following you could be the larger Pokemon that you can ride around, like Charizard, Onix, and my personal favorite so far, Arcanine. Riding this thing will be the most majestic thing out there, and I can't wait to get the game and see how many more Pokemon I'll be able to ride, especially on the water where Lapras might not be the only option anymore, and I can get another Pokemon, for example, like Dugong. So all of this definitely is bound to have riding Pokemon as one of the most interesting things coming to the game, as well as Pokemon following you around, and that I think is my #1 spot for the best feature of this game so far. Oh, and before anyone comes at my neck in the comments, I just want to point out that I know the games aren't out yet, and what I'm listing, of course, can be shadowed by something else in the games, but honestly, it's a remake of Pokemon Yellow, so I doubt anything other than what I listed will be bound to pique my interest more. But with that being said, I think it's time to jump into what I think will be the worst things when playing these games, which are only 4 on my list. I know it says top 5, but it's just 4 on my list. I couldn't really think of an extra 5th one that bothered me that much. So if you guys have 5, or you can think of an extra one over the ones that I mentioned, of course, by all means, list them down in the comment section below. And with that being said, let's jump straight into number 4. Starting off, we have no more wild battles. So with the Pokemon Go integration, Pokemon have been scattered in the overworld, so the only way to catch them is by using the Pokemon Go throwing mechanic, which I don't mind. I absolutely respect that, and that's why this is very low on the list, because that's their choice to integrate Pokemon Go into the spin-off, and it's not even a main game, so it shouldn't really matter that much. So even though I don't mind it, but at the same time, I don't feel like I want this to be my grinding method. This of course induces catching different Pokemon, but in one of the trailers, it shows a Mr. Mime running from a wild battle. So what if a Pokemon that is a little bit more rare keeps running away just because it won't stay in the ball? I don't feel like I have to run around to find it again over and over and have the same thing happening, unless I catch it, of course. And in my opinion, I feel so much better using Paralysis and lowering its health like in every other game. The next thing on the list shouldn't really take us that long to explain. I just think it's really not necessary and stupid, but it is the amount of hand-holding this game is apparently doing straight off the bat. Again, I know this game is intended for a younger audience, and I respect that, but it can't be to the point of each gym asking for a specific type or even level of Pokemon just to progress. I guess doing these things for a bonus item like a fresh water or a hyper potion to help you with the gym battle is fine, but I don't think applying this to every single gym is necessary at all. Alright, next thing on the list definitely takes the cake, and this is your friendly rival. I do not care what anyone says, no one can be happy about this change. Kanto as a region doesn't really offer much just because it was the first to be introduced, so they couldn't really go deep into the story, but one of the things that made it really stand out is having one of the best rivals, in my case, my second favorite being Blue. He was rude, always thought he was better than you and always a step ahead, and he acted like a true rival and even became the champion. So having all of that washed with this friendly bullshit completely turned me off from being hyped for this game. Even though I like a lot of the things introduced, you can't mess with the core characters. It just won't be the same experience without Blue's attitude anymore. Alright, so finally, I think the most disappointing thing about these games is how you can get Mew just because you bought the Pokeball Plus. Mew is a Pokemon that forever had its own mystery when it came to Kanto, like all the glitches you had to do for it, all the truck theories, and fast forward to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, oh yeah, you just buy this $45 controller and you can easily get it. That's it. No work to be done, no more curiosity, it's just that easy. From a marketing standpoint, that's definitely a brilliant idea, but within the game itself, I'm not the biggest fan of this method. There isn't really much else to be said here, but an added Mew in the game that I can actually work for sounds a lot better to me than a money grab. And that's what I think this has come to be one of my least favorite things when it comes to these games. Thank you guys so much for sticking to the end. I know I haven't been the most consistent with these because I'm not that creative when it comes to ideas related to top 5s, but I'll try to work on more top 5s soon it comes, so make sure to stay tuned for that. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below what you thought was your top 5 best and worst things when it comes to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and subscribe to not miss a video. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching again, and I will see you guys all next time.